Let's talk to Tamara Alrifai, who's a spokesperson for the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestinian refugees in the Near East. And when you speak to your colleagues on the ground, just give us an indication as to what they're experiencing.
My colleagues from UNRWA in Gaza say that that Gaza is experiencing the most intense airstrikes and violence since 2014 in terms of loss of lives, damage to infrastructure, but also massive psychological impact. Everybody's distressed, everybody is desperate. Remember that this is the fourth round of hostilities in 13 years, and every round ends up leaving the basic infrastructure in Gaza weakened. Gaza has been under blockade for now 14 years, which has completely weakened its economy and has completely weakened even the perspectives, closed the perspectives on young people. Unemployment is high. And this last year, Gaza has been severely impacted by COVID. So altogether, it takes the term humanitarian crisis to another level.
Yes, I wonder if you could just develop on that, the situation with, of course, the COVID pandemic, something that we're witnessing globally. How much of an impact had that already had on this particular area?
COVID-19 has had a huge impact on Gaza in that the additional restrictions that were supposed to take place or kick in because of the pandemic were not possible in a place as densely populated as Gaza, where it's not possible to isolate or to distance from others. Many people live in the same household, and in the case of Palestinian refugees, refugee camps are extremely densely populated. Now, because of the full blockade on Gaza, the economic situation is so bad, unemployment is so high that most people are daily paid workers. It is difficult for them to stop working or not go out in order to face COVID. A lot of them say I'd rather face the possibility of a pandemic that I can't see than hunger and get my entire family hungry. Now, with this, UNRWA has been at the forefront of trying to mitigate the impact of COVID and has been very heavily invested in the vaccination campaign. As a reminder, vaccination rates amongst Palestinians are at 5%, which is very, very low. For some perspective, vaccination rates in India, which is a huge COVID crisis now, is at 10%. So with this conflict, our vaccination rollout has had to stop. Therefore, there is an additional risk on top of the airstrikes, the displacement, the dispossession, the fear, the psychological trauma of everyone. There's also a risk of spreading of this virus.
And Tamara, I wonder, as the diplomatic measures continue, so far no sign of a ceasefire, just how does that add to the complexities of what is already a very difficult situation on the ground there?
The lack of ceasefire heavily impacts the ability of aid workers, of UNRWA, of my colleagues, to go around the city and organize humanitarian assistance. Now, as of today, more than 43,000 people are gathering in 53 UNRWA schools. UNRWA is used to sheltering people whose homes have been destroyed in its schools, but this is a situation where there's no ceasefire. It's very difficult for everyone to go around. There's also COVID, so what we usually offer in shelters needs to be stepped up this time to abide by the COVID precautions. In addition, most of my UNRWA colleagues are Palestinian refugees themselves, so it's their own families and communities that are under these air bombardments, and themselves have to also defend themselves and their families and protect them. So all of this makes a humanitarian response extremely complicated.
It does indeed. Tamara Alrifai speaking on behalf of UNRWA. Thank you so much for talking us through that.